Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English and Smart Practice.
I'm Elena, your guide on this language journey. Have you ever felt that little spark of frustration when you want to express yourself perfectly in English, but the words just won't come out naturally? Well, today, that changes. In this episode, we're diving deep into the heartbeat of everyday English, natural conversations. Forget robotic phrases. We're going to transform your English listening and speaking skills by immersing you in common daily scenarios. Through simple yet powerful examples, you'll discover how effortlessly native speakers connect, share, and navigate their world. Our goal is to help you build unshakable confidence in English sentence structure, authentic expressions, and that coveted smooth speaking flow. Whether you're grabbing a coffee, chatting with a colleague, making a quick call, or simply asking for directions, these practices are designed to help you sound more like a native speaker. We'll also pause for some interactive exercises, ensuring you're not just passively listening, but actively thinking and speaking in English. By the time we wrap up, you'll feel empowered and ready to weave English into every thread of your daily life. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon so you never miss a new lesson. We're here to help you improve every single day. Grab your notebook and a pen, and let's unlock your fluent everyday English. The power of everyday talk. Speaking English fluently in your daily life is arguably the most effective way to truly master the language. It moves beyond rote memorization of grammar rules or endless vocabulary lists. Instead, it's about using English organically in simple real-life situations. Daily conversations are the very foundation of how native speakers interact. They allow you to stay connected, share thoughts, and understand the world around you. In this lesson, we'll explore practical examples of how to use English in your morning routine, at your favorite cafe, while grocery shopping, and during casual chats with friends or family. These are the kinds of conversations that occur countless times each day, and mastering comfortable expressions in these moments can dramatically boost your confidence and overall fluency. Starting your day in English. Let's kick things off with a typical morning at home. Imagine waking up and bumping into your flatmate or a family member. You might greet them with, "Morning, sleep well." They could reply, "Good morning." "Yeah, I slept great, thanks." To which you might say, "I'm still half asleep, definitely need some tea to get going." These are simple exchanges, but they're crucial for setting a positive tone and building connection. Such casual greetings are a significant part of natural spoken English. Asking something as straightforward as "sleep well" demonstrates care and interest. These seemingly basic phrases, when used daily, instinctively train your mind to think and respond in English without hesitation. As you get ready for your day, you might turn to someone and ask, "Is it supposed to rain today?" Or, "Do I need a heavy coat?" These types of questions help you learn how to use English to discuss upcoming plans or expectations. A friend or family member might respond, "It looks clear, no rain mentioned." Or, "It's a bit breezy, a light jacket should be fine." These replies help you grasp common sentence structures, especially when answering questions or offering advice. You're not just learning English words, you're practicing how to function through English. Kitchen conversations. Consider yourself in the kitchen preparing breakfast. You might offer, "Fancy some pancakes?" Or inquire, "Are you having juice or milk?" These are practical phrases for offering food or making choices. A common reply could be, "Pancakes sound delicious, please." Or, "Just water for me today." Learning to offer and respond politely is fundamental in daily conversations. It demonstrates good manners and makes your English sound much more natural. If someone asks you, "Any cream in your coffee?" you could say, "Just a splash, thanks," or "No, I like it strong." These short, common responses are frequently heard in English-speaking homes and social settings. At a cafe chats, now let's transition to a conversation you might have at your local coffee shop. As you enter, a barista might cheerfully greet you with, "Hey there, what can I get started for you?" You could respond, "I'll take a large black coffee, please." Or, "Could I get an iced vanilla latte?" The barista might then ask, "Anything to eat with that?" And you might reply, "Just the drink today, thanks." These interactions are routine in countless cafes globally. Practicing them helps you confidently order in English and articulate your preferences. If the cashier asks, "Will that be all?" and you reply, "Yes, that's everything, thank you," you're smoothly closing the transaction with polite language. Small conversations like this are invaluable for building your confidence to use English in real-world public settings. Imagine you're waiting for your coffee and you spot an acquaintance. A natural conversation might spark up like this. "Oh, hey, Mark. Didn't expect to see you here." Mark replies, "Hey. Yeah, I grab my morning brew here before work every day." Then you might ask, "How's the new project going at the office?" And he says, "Keeping me busy, same old, same old." Conversations like these are informal and friendly, allowing you to connect with others while practicing light small talk. Learning how to sustain a conversation with simple questions and answers is one of the most vital skills in real-life communication. Shopping scenarios. Let's shift to another everyday scenario, shopping at the grocery store. Suppose you're searching for a specific item and need assistance. You might approach a staff member and say, "Excuse me, could you point me towards the fresh produce section?" The person might reply, "Certainly, it's right at the back past aisle 3. You then say, "Wonderful, thank you so much." And they respond, "My pleasure." This interaction is brief but incredibly practical. It teaches you how to ask for help, understand directions, and express gratitude in English. Another example involves inquiring about prices. You might say, "How much are these grapes?" Or, "Is this pasta on discount?" And hear replies like, "They're $3.99 a pound." Or, "Yes, it's part of our buy one, get one half off deal." Understanding and using this kind of vocabulary helps you navigate everyday tasks effortlessly. Sometimes, while shopping, you might run into someone you know. A conversation could begin with, "Well, look who it is. Fancy meeting you here." The person might chuckle and say, "Just stocking up for the week." You could respond, "Me too, decided to bake some bread today." These types of casual chats allow you to use English in spontaneous situations. You're not rehearsing, you're interacting naturally, and that's the true essence of fluency. Speaking without needing to mentally translate every word. Asking for directions. As your day progresses, you might need to ask for directions. You could say, "Pardon me, could you tell me the quickest way to the city museum?" A person might answer, "Of course, walk straight for about 2 blocks, then turn right at the big fountain. It's just past the park." You respond, "Thanks a million," and they say, "No problem, enjoy your visit." These exchanges help you master asking for and giving directions in a friendly and respectful manner. They're particularly useful when you're traveling or living in an English-speaking area. These aren't complex sentences, but they teach you how to handle real situations confidently. Every time you practice these types of conversations, you're not just improving your English, you're training your brain to respond more quickly, speak more clearly, and feel more natural while talking. The key isn't perfection, but consistency. Speak every day, repeat what you hear, and try using a new phrase with someone. The more you use English, the more comfortable it becomes, and soon you'll notice that you don't need to think before speaking, it simply flows. That's the real power of practicing daily life English conversations. Phone call etiquette. Another very common daily interaction happens over the phone. Talking on the phone in English can sometimes feel more challenging because you lack visual cues like facial expressions, but practicing common phone conversations can help you feel more at ease. Imagine you're calling a friend to make plans. You start with, "Hi, Alex, how are things?" And they reply, "I'm doing well, thanks. What about you?" You continue, "I was wondering if you're free for brunch this Saturday. Thinking of trying that new cafe." Your friend might say, "Brunch sounds perfect. What time were you thinking?" You reply, "Maybe around 11, and they agree, "Awesome, see you then." This phone conversation covers greetings, making plans, confirming details, and expressing enthusiasm. These short exchanges prepare you for real situations where you'll need to speak English confidently. Everyday cooking. Let's shift to another daily task, preparing meals at home. Even in your kitchen, you can use English naturally. Suppose you're cooking with a family member. You might say, "Could you hand me the olive oil?" Or, "Are we out of garlic?" The other person could respond, "Yes, it's right next to the stove," or, "No, I think we used the last of it." "Want me to pick some up later?" You answer, "That would be super helpful, thanks." These conversations are casual, but they teach you how to ask for help, answer questions, and offer assistance, all in English. It's easy to practice such conversations every day while doing normal activities. The more you do, the more fluent and comfortable you become. Work and school talk. Now let's discuss conversations at work or in school. These environments often involve routine questions and polite responses. Imagine you're at work and your colleague Jessica asks, "Did you manage to finalize the presentation?" You'll respond, "Not quite yet. Still polishing the slides. I'll send it over before lunch." Or perhaps you ask a colleague, "Do you have a moment to review something with me?" And they respond, "Absolutely. What do you need help with?" These short exchanges are typical in professional settings. They emphasize clarity, politeness, and cooperation. Learning the rhythm of these phrases helps you sound more professional and organized in English-speaking workplaces. In a school setting, you might chat with a classmate or a teacher. A student might say, "Did you get the details for the history essay?" And another could reply, "Sort of. I think we need to analyze the primary sources." Or you might ask your teacher, "Could you re-explain the concept of supply and demand, please?" And the teacher replies, "Of course, let me walk you through it once more." These examples demonstrate how to ask for clarification, confirm understanding, and show respect during a conversation. School and work are excellent places to practice clear and helpful English that fosters effective communication and teamwork. Casual outdoor chats. Now let's imagine a conversation when you're out and about, maybe waiting for a bus or taking a stroll in the park. Someone might comment, "Lovely weather we're having today, isn't it?" And you could respond, "It really is. Perfect for a walk." This type of small talk is very common in English-speaking countries. People often discuss the weather, current events, or even pets to initiate a friendly conversation. You could say, "Do you visit this park often?" Or, "I enjoy jogging here in the mornings." These comments help build friendly connections and demonstrate confidence in using English casually. At the bus stop, you might ask someone, "Excuse me, do you know if the number 42 bus stops here?" They may reply, "Yes, it does. It should be here in about 5 minutes." You say, "Thanks for the heads up." These conversations might seem minor, but they are impactful. They provide opportunities to practice English with strangers, which is a significant step towards fluency. Being able to start and maintain a brief conversation is a powerful skill, particularly when living in an English-speaking environment. Doctor's visit. Dialogue. Let's go through another common daily interaction, a visit to the doctor. This is a situation where clear communication in English is vital. You check in at the clinic and say, "Hello, I have an appointment at 10:30. The receptionist asks, "What's your full name, please?" And you reply, "It's David Chen." They respond, "Okay, Mr. Chen, please take a seat. The doctor will call you shortly." Later, when you talk to the doctor, they might ask, "What brings you in today?" You answer, "I've had a persistent cough for a few days." They may ask more questions like, "Are you experiencing any other symptoms?" And you reply, "Just a mild sore throat and a bit of fatigue." These conversations help you explain how you feel and receive instructions. Practicing them makes you feel more prepared and less anxious when you're actually in the situation. Banking basics. Next, imagine going to the bank. You might say, "Hi, I'd like to make a deposit, please." The teller replies, "Certainly." "Do you have your account number handy?" You provide the number and they ask, "And how much are you depositing today?" You respond, "Just $200 in cash." These formal conversations are also important for daily life. They help you manage your finances, ask questions, and understand services in English. The more you learn to articulate your needs in English, the more independent and confident you become. Restaurant rendezvous. Let's look at a short conversation that might happen when you go out to eat at a restaurant. The host says, "Welcome, table for two?" And you respond, "Yes, just us." They lead you to your table and hand you the menu. Later, your server returns and asks, "Are you ready to order or do you need a few more minutes?" You say, "We're ready." "I'll have the vegetarian lasagna, please." The server responds, "And for you?" And your companion answers, "I'll take the fish and chips." These are simple but essential parts of daily communication. Being able to order food, inquire about menu items, and respond politely demonstrates real-life fluency. Now think about the conversation when you're paying. The server may ask, "Can I get you anything else or just the bill?" And you respond, "Just the bill, please." They return and say, "Here you go." And you reply, "Thanks. Can we pay separately?" They respond, "No problem, I can split it for you." You pay, then say, "Thank you, the food was excellent." And they might say, "We're delighted you enjoyed it. Have a lovely evening." This closing interaction is important. It ends the conversation on a friendly and polite note. These types of exchanges teach you how to use everyday manners and expressions in real-world situations. In all these examples, the key is practice. Practicing daily conversations helps you learn how to start, continue, and finish interactions in a natural way. It teaches you how to ask questions, respond politely, give information, and share opinions. More importantly, it helps you build confidence in your speaking skills. Fluency comes from using English consistently, not just studying it. That's why practicing conversations that reflect real life is one of the best methods to improve your English quickly and effectively. Evening and home life. Let's now explore conversations that happen in the evening. After a long day, many people spend time relaxing, cooking, or catching up with loved ones. These are perfect moments to use English in a natural, relaxed way. Suppose you arrive home and greet your family member by saying, "Hey, how was your day?" They might respond, "It was fine, just a bit hectic. How about yours?" You reply, "Pretty good. Work was a bit crazy, but I'm happy to be home now." This short conversation is common, and it helps you express emotions and share daily experiences. Expressions like, "How was your day?" and "I'm happy to be home" are used frequently and create meaningful connections. Later, you may want to talk about dinner. You might ask, "What are you in the mood for tonight?" The other person could say, "Maybe some homemade pizza." You then suggest, "Sounds great. I'll start prepping the dough." And they might reply, "Perfect. I'll chop the toppings." This type of teamwork and conversation while cooking is not only practical, but also a great chance to improve your English speaking in a relaxed setting. Talking about tasks, food, or plans helps you become more comfortable using verbs and sentence structures naturally. After dinner, you might sit down to watch a movie. You ask, "What movie should we put on?" And your friend answers, "I saw a new sci-fi film reviewed. Want to check it out?" You agree, "Definitely, I'm in the mood for something adventurous." These small exchanges are very typical in daily life. Being able to talk casually about preferences and entertainment is an important skill. You might also comment on the movie by saying, "That was more suspenseful than I thought," or "The special effects were incredible." Learning to express your opinions is an essential part of natural conversation in English. Digital dialogues. Now let's move to conversations you might have online or over text. In today's world, many conversations happen through messaging. These are just as valuable for practicing English. For example, you might text your friend, "Hey, free Saturday afternoon?" And they respond, "I think so. What's up?" You write, "Thinking of checking out that new art exhibit downtown." They reply, "Oh, cool. Count me in." This back and forth texting helps you practice informal English, learn how to write concisely, and understand common short phrases. It also trains your brain to switch between reading and writing quickly. If you're texting someone about work or study, you may say, "Just confirming if the team meeting is still on for tomorrow." And they could reply, "Yes, 9 a.m. sharp. Don't forget your project notes." You respond, "Got it. Thanks for the reminder. See you then." This type of professional text is short, clear, and polite. Practicing messages like these will help you be more confident when texting or emailing in English for professional reasons. Whether it's casual or formal, writing in English daily will improve both your speaking and comprehension skills, planning, and problem solving. Let's talk about weekend plans now. Conversations about plans are common and helpful to learn. You might ask, "Any exciting plans for the long weekend?" And hear responses like, "Not yet, probably just catch up on chores," or "I'm heading up to the lake for some fishing." Then you say, "If you're free Sunday evening, we could have a barbecue." And they say, "That sounds fantastic. I'd love to." These types of conversations involve suggestions, invitations, and responses. Knowing how to make plans and react to them helps you feel more involved in daily social life. Another important type of conversation happens when someone needs help. Suppose a friend says, "Can you give me a hand moving this sofa?" And you respond, "Sure, just tell me where to lift." Or someone says, "I'm struggling with this puzzle." And you reply, "Let me take a look. Maybe a fresh pair of eyes will help." Offering help and solving problems using English teaches you how to be supportive and cooperative. You also learn useful verbs like grab, fix, help, lift, and open. These are essential in everyday speaking and useful in both casual and work settings. There are also conversations when things go wrong and you need to express concern. For example, if someone says, "My car broke down on the way home," you might say, "Oh no, are you okay? Where are you stuck?" Or, "Can I come pick you up?" Helping someone in a stressful situation in English allows you to use comforting words and show empathy. You may say, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out," or "Let me call roadside assistance for you." These expressions are not only helpful but also show emotional intelligence in your communication. Apologies and preferences. Sometimes you might need to apologize or respond to one. A typical conversation could go like this: "I'm really sorry I missed your call earlier." The other person says, "No worries at all. I figured you were busy." You might add, "Thanks for understanding. I got tied up in a meeting." This teaches you how to say sorry sincerely and how to respond politely. Apologizing in English involves more than just saying sorry. It includes tone, reason, and expression of feelings. Practicing these conversations makes you more fluent and emotionally aware in different contexts. Another useful category is expressing likes and dislikes. You might say, "I absolutely love hiking, especially early in the morning," or "I'm not a big fan of reality TV shows." If someone asks, "Do you enjoy cooking?" you could say, "Yes, a fair bit. I like experimenting with new recipes." These short sentences help you talk about your preferences. This is especially helpful in social situations when you want to share your opinions, make connections, or just express who you are. Being able to describe what you enjoy and what you don't is a vital part of self-expression in English. Compliments and closures. Let's also cover giving compliments and showing appreciation. For example, you might say, "Your new haircut looks fantastic on you," or "Thanks for helping me move that heavy box today. I really appreciate your strength." Compliments make conversations more positive and friendly. In return, someone might say, "Oh, thank you, that's kind of you to say," or "Anytime, happy to lend a hand." These types of phrases strengthen relationships and help you learn how to be polite and kind in English. They are a great way to make others feel good while practicing smooth, positive conversations. When it comes to ending conversations, there are several common phrases used to close naturally. If you're finishing a chat, you might say, "It was lovely catching up," or "I should get going, but let's connect again soon." The other person might respond, "Definitely, talk to you later," or "Take care." These phrases help you leave the conversation respectfully and leave a good impression. Closing a conversation well is just as important as starting one. Practicing both opening and closing sentences will help you manage conversations with ease in all kinds of situations. Shopping for more. Now let's turn our attention to conversations that happen in shops or at the mall. These situations are part of everyday life, and learning how to interact politely and confidently in English can be very helpful. Suppose you walk into a shoe store. A sales assistant approaches and says, "Hi there, looking for anything in particular?" You might respond, "Yes, I'm trying to find some running shoes." They may ask, "What size are you?" And you reply, I'm usually a size 8, but sometimes an 8.5 depending on the brand. The assistant might say, let me bring out a few pairs for you to try on. You can respond, that would be great. Thank you so much. In this short exchange, you are expressing what you need, providing information, and responding politely. These conversations also teach you vocabulary related to shopping and clothing, which is very useful for daily life. When you are ready to pay, you go to the cashier and say, "Hi, I'm ready to check out." The cashier responds, "Okay, will that be cash or card?" You say, "Card, please." Then the cashier says, "Would you like a bag for these?" And you respond, "Yes, please." These are some of the most frequently used phrases in shops, and they help you practice polite and functional English in a public setting. Every time you go shopping, try using English. These simple, repeated actions are powerful tools for building fluency. Transport and travel talk. Next, let's look at daily life conversations around transportation and travel. Whether you're taking a taxi, a bus, or going through an airport, you'll need to communicate in English. Imagine you're getting into a rideshare and you say, "Hi, could you please take me to the opera house?" The driver replies, "No problem, hopping in." You then ask, "How long do you think it'll take with this traffic?" And the driver says, "Probably around 25 minutes. It's a bit heavy right now." After reaching your destination, you say, "What's the fare?" And the driver replies, "That'll be $18. You pay and say, "Thanks for the ride." These interactions help you practice clear and quick English, especially in new or busy environments. If you're using public transportation, such as a bus or subway, conversations might include asking for information. You might ask someone, "Excuse me, does this train go to the financial district?" And they respond, "Yes, it does." You'll need to get off at the third stop, Wall Street. Or maybe you're at a train station and say, "Where can I find tickets for the express train to Boston?" And someone replies, "Just over there, at the self-service kiosks." These types of conversations allow you to understand directions, follow instructions, and complete tasks confidently in English. Now let's imagine a situation at the airport. You check in at the counter and say, "Good morning, I have a flight to Sydney." The staff member replies, "May I see your passport and ticket, please?" You hand them over and they ask, "Are you checking any luggage today?" You respond, "Yes, just this one carry-on." They say, "All right, your gate is B22. Boarding begins at 8:45. You reply, "Thank you very much." These formal conversations require you to be polite and accurate with your responses. Practicing them will help you feel more prepared when traveling internationally. Handling the unexpected. Let's move on to conversations related to emergencies or unexpected problems. It's important to know how to explain problems or ask for help in English. Imagine you're at a hotel and something isn't working. You call the front desk and say, "Hi, the Wi-Fi in my room isn't connecting properly." The receptionist replies, "I'm so sorry about that. We'll send IT support to your room right away." You respond, "Thank you. I'd appreciate that." Being able to report issues and respond politely helps you manage difficult situations with calm and clarity. In another situation, you realize you left your wallet somewhere and need help. You might say, "Excuse me, I think I left my wallet at the table earlier. Has anyone found it?" The staff member checks and replies, "Yes, someone did." "Can you describe it for me?" You say, "It's a brown leather wallet with a zipper." They check and say, "Yes, this looks like it." You respond, "Oh, thank goodness." "Thank you so much." These interactions show how to stay calm, explain a situation, and respond appropriately. This kind of conversation also strengthens your ability to describe objects and express concern. Another example is calling emergency services. If you ever need to call for help, you might say, "Hello, I need police assistance. There's been an accident at an intersection." The dispatcher may ask, "What's the exact address or intersection?" And you reply, "It's at the corner of Oak Street and Elm Avenue." They respond, "Help is on the way. Please stay on the line." Although we hope you never need to use this type of conversation, being prepared can make a huge difference. These kinds of interactions require clear and direct English that communicates urgency and facts, hobbies, goals, and feelings. Now let's consider conversations about hobbies and interests. Talking about what you enjoy doing in your free time is one of the best ways to connect with others in English. You might say, "I love gardening, especially growing my own herbs," or "I enjoy listening to true crime podcasts." If someone asks, "What do you like to do on weekends?" you could reply, "I usually volunteer at the animal shelter or go for long bike rides." These conversations are excellent for expanding your vocabulary around activities, emotions, and preferences. They also help you develop your personality in English and engage in more meaningful conversations. You might also discuss future plans with others. Someone may ask, "Do you have anything exciting planned for the summer?" And you reply, "Yes, I'm hoping to travel to Japan." Or you may say, "I'm thinking of starting an online course in graphic design." Being able to express your intentions and ideas about the future is a key part of fluency. It allows you to talk about goals, make suggestions, and discuss possibilities. You can also ask questions like, "Where are you dreaming of traveling next?" Or, "Have you decided on your next big project?" These types of conversations help you plan and share your thoughts in English. Let's not forget about expressing emotions and feelings. Talking about how you feel helps build deeper connections. You might say, "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with work today," or "I'm absolutely thrilled about my promotion." If a friend says, "I'm feeling a little anxious about my exam," you can respond, "Is there anything I can do to help ease your mind?" These expressions teach you how to recognize and respond to emotions. They also help you become more sensitive and supportive in your communication. Using emotional language properly is a powerful part of English fluency that adds warmth and depth to your conversations. Lastly, let's talk about reflection and gratitude. At the end of the day, you might say, "It's been a busy day, but I feel productive about what I accomplished." Or, "I'm really thankful for the kindness of strangers today." Talking about your experiences in this way helps you practice the past tense and express appreciation. You might also say to a friend or family member, "Thanks for listening today. It truly helped." These sentences may seem simple, but they carry strong emotional value and help you practice meaningful English daily. Reflection is a wonderful habit for improving both your language and your mindset. Community and everyday services. Let's now explore daily life English conversations in community settings such as the library, post office, or pharmacy. These places might not be part of your routine every day, but they are common enough to make practicing English for these situations valuable. Imagine going to a library to return a book. You walk up to the counter and say, "Hi, I'd like to return this book, please." The librarian replies, "Certainly, do you have any other books to return today?" You respond, "No, just this one." The librarian scans your book and says, "All right, you're all set." You reply, "Great, thank you, and have a good afternoon." These short, polite exchanges help you navigate public services using English and make it easier to ask questions, follow rules, and show appreciation. At the post office, the conversation might begin with you saying, "Hello, I need to buy some stamps for these letters." The staff member asks, "How many letters are you sending, and are they domestic or international?" You respond, "5 domestic letters." The staff checks and says, "That will be $3.50. You reply, "Okay, here you go." And they give you the stamps while saying, "Your letters should arrive in 2 to 3 business days." You finish by saying, "Thanks a lot." These types of conversations teach you how to handle transactions and understand service-related vocabulary, which are helpful when communicating in any English-speaking environment. Now let's visit the pharmacy. You approach the counter and say, "Hi, I'm here to pick up a refill for my allergy medication." The pharmacist may ask, "What's your birth date, please?" You give your date and they say, "Okay, I've got it here. Do you have any questions about this medication?" You might reply, "Yes, does it cause drowsiness?" The pharmacist says, "It might for some people, it's best to take it before bed." You respond, "Got it. Thank you for the advice." This teaches you how to ask for health-related information and follow instructions. Being able to ask and answer questions clearly in such situations is very important and gives you confidence in managing your health and well-being in English. Neighbors and neighborhood. Let's move on to conversations with neighbors or community members. Suppose you live in an apartment building and run into your neighbor Sarah in the elevator. You say, "Hi, Sarah. How's your weekend been?" She smiles and responds, "Pretty relaxing, thanks. Just enjoyed some quiet time." Yours? You ask, "Busy but good. Finally got that garden bed planted." And she says, "Oh, nice. I saw it. Looks lovely." You say, "Thanks. Have a great evening." These small, friendly exchanges might not seem like much, but they create a sense of community and help you feel more connected while practicing English in a relaxed, casual way. Now imagine you need to ask a neighbor for help. You knock on their door and say, "Hi, Liam. Sorry to bother you, but would you happen to have a spare bike pump I could borrow?" Liam says, "Sure, no problem. I think I have one in the garage." "Hang on a sec." You respond, "Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I'll bring it back this evening." Later, when you return it, you say, "Here's your pump back. Thanks again. You saved my ride." Liam replies, "Anytime. Glad I could help." These conversations teach you how to make polite requests, offer gratitude, and interact respectfully with people in your community. They build your language confidence in friendly, helpful situations, fitness and food outings. Let's talk about another area of daily life that many people engage in: exercise and fitness. Suppose you go to a gym for the first time. At the front desk, you say, "Hi, I'm interested in trying out your yoga classes." The staff replies, "Great! We have beginner sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Would you like to sign up for a trial?" You say, "Yes, the Tuesday class sounds good." Then they ask, "Are you familiar with yoga, or is this your first time?" And you reply, "I'm pretty new to it, actually." These conversations are helpful for navigating memberships, schedules, and services. Or inside the gym, you might talk to an instructor. They ask, "Is this your first time in this specific class?" And you respond, "Yes, it is. I'm excited to try it." The instructor might say, "Perfect. Feel free to ask questions if anything is unclear and just go at your own pace." You respond, "Thanks, I appreciate that." These sentences help you express your level, ask questions, and follow instructions. Whether you're at a gym, a dance class, or joining a fitness group, English helps you communicate your needs and goals effectively. Let's imagine you're traveling with a friend, Mia, in a new city. You're walking around and want to stop for lunch. You say, "I'm getting pretty hungry. Should we find somewhere to eat soon?" Mia says, "Yeah, let's look for a good spot." What are you in the mood for? You find a restaurant and say, "This place has great reviews for pasta. Want to try it?" She agrees, "Sure, I'm craving Italian." These conversations involve expressing preferences and making group decisions. Inside the restaurant, the host says, "Table for two?" And you say, "Yes, please." These moments are real, frequent, and incredibly useful for practicing natural English. While waiting for food, you might look at the menu and say, "That creamy mushroom risotto sounds amazing." Mia might respond, "I'm torn between the lasagna and the pizza." You then say, "Let's get some garlic bread to share too." These types of conversations about food choices, sharing, and decision-making give you useful vocabulary and sentence structure. When the server comes to take your order, you say, "I'd like the creamy mushroom risotto, please." And then you add, "And we'll share an order of garlic bread." These simple sentences help you be clear, polite, and confident in ordering meals in English. When the meal is over and the server asks, "Can I interest you in any dessert or coffee?" you can respond, "No, thank you, just the check, please." When you get the check, you say, "Can I pay with my card here?" And the server says, "Yes, certainly." These final exchanges complete the interaction in a professional and polite way. Using English confidently during dining experiences makes your conversation skills more complete and well-rounded. Routines, goals, and support. Let's now consider another important area, talking about goals and routines. Suppose you're chatting with a friend, Leo, and he asks, "What are your big plans for the next few months?" You respond, "I want to learn to play the guitar and try some new hiking trails." He says, "That's awesome." "I want to master a new coding language and get better at photography." These types of conversations allow you to share personal goals, encourage others, and learn how to use motivational language in English. You can also talk about your routine by saying, "I usually wake up at 7 a.m., meditate for a bit, and then plan my day." The other person might say, "That sounds like a very mindful start to the day." This helps you build your ability to talk about schedules and habits. You may also discuss productivity and learning. For example, someone might ask, "How do you manage to stay so organized with your tasks?" And you answer, "I try to use a digital planner and prioritize my top 3 items each morning." Or someone might say, "I've been improving my English by listening to podcasts during my commute." And you reply, "That's a smart idea." I try to read English articles online daily. Sharing techniques, talking about study methods, and exchanging ideas are great ways to use English actively and meaningfully. These daily life situations, whether in your neighborhood, at the gym, in a restaurant, or during travel, offer endless opportunities to speak, listen, and respond in English. When you focus on practicing these kinds of conversations regularly, your brain starts to think in English and you stop translating from your native language. The more often you practice in real-world situations, the faster your fluency will grow. Every conversation, no matter how small, becomes a chance to learn and become more confident. Digital and evening connections. Let's now explore the world of digital communication, an area where we all spend a lot of time. Whether you're chatting with friends online, emailing a coworker, or participating in a virtual meeting, you're using English in a modern, essential way. For instance, when chatting on social media, someone might send you a message saying, "Hey, how's your week shaping up?" And you respond, "Pretty hectic. Just managed to clear my inbox." You? They might say, "Same here. I'm so tired." You could continue. "Tell me about it. Let's grab coffee next week." These quick, informal messages are part of daily interaction for many people. They help you build comfort with casual phrases, contractions, and responses that reflect how English is used in real time. When it comes to email, conversations tend to be a little more formal. Suppose you're writing to your project lead. You might begin with, "Dear Ms. Evans, I hope this email finds you well." Then continue, "I'm writing to confirm the details for our client presentation next Tuesday." The manager replies, "Yes, all details are confirmed. Please ensure all team members have access to the final deck." You write back, "Thanks for confirming. I'll ensure everything is ready." These exchanges help you practice professional tone, sentence structure, and respectful communication. Writing emails regularly in English strengthens your grammar, clarity, and understanding of formal expressions. Now, let's imagine participating in an online meeting. At the beginning, you may say, "Good morning, team. Can everyone hear me clearly?" A colleague might respond, "Yes, loud and clear." You continue, "Great. Let's jump right into the quarterly review." Later in the meeting, you might say, "I'd like to elaborate on Daniel's point about market trends." Or, "Could you briefly reiterate the key takeaways from that last slide?" At the end, you say, "Thanks for your contributions, everyone. Let's schedule a follow-up for next month." These examples reflect how English is used in professional and organized settings. Practicing these helps you become a more effective communicator, especially in remote or business environments. Let's return to more casual personal conversations, the kind that often take place in the evening when people have time to unwind and reflect. You might be sitting with a family member and say, "Anything interesting happen at work today?" They respond, "Not much, just a typical day." "What about your errands?" You reply, "Got everything done. Luckily, the traffic wasn't too bad." Then they say, "Good to have a quiet evening now." You answer, "Absolutely. I'm ready to relax." These moments of calm after a busy day offer the chance to share feelings and connect with others while using clear, easy English. It also helps you practice speaking in the past tense and discussing events naturally. Home tasks and travel plans. During such moments, you might also make small plans or decisions for the next day. You might say, "Should we make that big pot of soup tomorrow?" The other person says, "That's a good idea. What ingredients do we need?" You answer, "Chicken, carrots, celery, and some herbs." They reply, "Okay, I'll add those to the grocery list so we don't forget." This kind of conversation teaches vocabulary for planning and making suggestions. It also helps you build fluency through simple questions and answers that feel smooth and purposeful. Another common area for daily English use is housework and chores. Imagine saying, "Can you help me load the dishwasher?" The other person says, "Sure, I'll be right there." You respond, "Thanks, I'll start rinsing." While cleaning, you might say, "Let's sweep the kitchen floor next." And they reply, "Sounds good. I'll grab the broom." Talking about chores may seem basic, but it teaches verbs and vocabulary that you use regularly. The more you use them in real-life tasks, the more natural they become in your speech. Now let's imagine you're planning a weekend trip. You might say, I was thinking of going camping this Saturday. Your friend responds, camping sounds fun. Which campsite are you thinking of? You say, there's a nice spot by the lake, about 2 hours away. They say, should we pack some marshmallows for s'mores? And you reply, yes, and definitely some insect repellent. This kind of conversation teaches how to plan ahead, express ideas, and consider different options. It's perfect for practicing the future tense and learning how to prepare for real activities while using English in a practical way. When you return from a trip or event, it's also a great opportunity to practice describing your experience. You might say, the starry sky at the campsite was breathtaking. And your friend replies, I bet. Did you manage to catch any fish? You answer, just a couple small ones, but it was so peaceful. They ask, were there many other campers around? And you say, a few, but it felt very private overall. This conversation uses past tense descriptive language and common questions about experiences. Describing events, vacations, or special moments is a fantastic way to build your storytelling skills in English. Emotional connections and advice. Let's also think about emotional support conversations. Moments when someone needs encouragement or a kind word. Suppose your friend says, I've been feeling a bit down about my job search lately. You respond, I'm really sorry to hear that. It's tough out there. Do you want to talk about it? They say, I just feel like I'm not making progress. You reply, that's totally understandable. Job searching can be incredibly draining, but don't give up. Your hard work will pay off. These types of conversations teach empathy, emotional language, and supportive expressions in English. They also help you grow as a person who can comfort others using soft, meaningful words. You might also offer advice during such times. Your friend says, I'm just not sure what my next step should be. You could say, perhaps take a short break from applying and focus on updating your skills for a bit. It might give you a fresh perspective. They say, thanks, that's actually a really good point. Offering advice, even simple suggestions, helps you practice conditionals, polite tone, and problem-solving language. These skills are important in both personal and professional life. Celebrations and daily goodbyes. Now imagine talking about special occasions like birthdays, holidays, or celebrations. You might say, tomorrow is my brother's graduation. I'm so excited for him. A friend says, oh, congratulations to him. Are you doing anything special to celebrate? You respond, yes, we're having a big family dinner at his favorite restaurant. Talking about holidays, you could say, we usually have a huge potluck with all our neighbors for the 4th of July. Someone replies, that sounds lively. Do you have any special traditions? You answer, yes, we always light sparklers at dusk. These types of conversations add warmth and cultural context to your English use. Before ending the day, you might say to your loved ones, good night, sleep tight. They might say, good night, see you in the morning. These small, caring exchanges may seem simple, but they are meaningful. They show affection and comfort. They are also great phrases to practice in real time, especially with family or close friends. Saying goodnight, offering well wishes, or sharing kind words is part of emotional communication that builds stronger relationships and makes your English feel alive and real. By including these moments, whether you're online, relaxing at home, planning something new, or comforting someone, you continue to use English as a real living language, not as something you memorize for a test, but as a way to connect, express, and grow. Every sentence you speak or write in English becomes a step closer to fluency. All of these conversations, no matter how short or simple, help you become the kind of English speaker who sounds natural, confident, and friendly. Your final practice. As we come to the final part of this practice session, let's review and reinforce how important daily conversations are in building your English fluency. Every small interaction, whether it's at home, at work, online, or in public, helps shape the way you speak, listen, and understand English. What makes these conversations powerful is not just the vocabulary or grammar you use, but how naturally they flow from one situation to another. When you stop thinking in your native language and begin responding directly in English, that's when true progress begins. It doesn't require complicated words or long speeches. It just requires consistency, patience, and everyday practice. Let's go through a few final practice examples to bring together all that you've learned. Imagine you are planning a weekend with a friend, Sam. You say, "Hey, Sam, thinking of doing something fun this weekend? Any ideas?" And Sam replies, maybe we could go kayaking or check out that new board game cafe. You respond, "Ooh, the board game cafe sounds awesome. I love trying new games." Sam says, "Perfect. How about Saturday afternoon, say 3 p.m.? And you agree, sounds like a plan. In this short conversation, you've practiced making suggestions, sharing opinions, and confirming plans, all important skills for real-life fluency. Now let's imagine another situation where you're giving someone directions. Someone asks you, "Excuse me, could you direct me to the nearest park?" And you respond, "Sure, just walk straight down this street for 3 blocks, then take a left at the bakery. It'll be right there." They say, "Thanks so much." And you reply, "You're most welcome. Enjoy your walk." This exchange teaches you how to give clear instructions and respond politely, skills that are especially useful in cities or when helping tourists. It also builds your ability to describe locations and use basic directional phrases naturally. Next, picture a conversation with a postal worker. The person arrives and says, "Hello, delivery for Jane Smith." You respond, "That's me. Do I need to sign anything?" They say, "Yes, just here on the device." And you sign. You add, "Thank you, have a good day." And they say, "You too." These quick exchanges happen often in daily life, and practicing them builds fluency in a very practical way. You learn how to ask simple questions, respond clearly, and show politeness. Let's now imagine you're in a hardware store. You walk in and say to the staff, "Hi, do you stock any cordless drills?" They reply, "Yes, they're in aisle 7, near the power tools." You say, "Thanks." "Do you have a model you'd recommend for home use?" And they respond, "This compact one is very popular with DIYers for its ease of use." You say, "Great, I'll take it." This conversation gives you practice with asking for help, using specific vocabulary, and understanding suggestions. It also gives you a way to feel more confident in public places when speaking English. Another very realistic daily conversation happens when you're talking to your child, younger sibling, or a student. You might say, "Have you done your homework yet?" And they reply, "Not yet, I'm doing it now." You ask, "Do you need help with anything?" And they say, "Yes, I'm stuck on this math problem." You respond, "Let's look at it together." These interactions help you use everyday expressions, ask and answer questions, and practice using helpful, supportive language. Now let's consider a conversation where you want to share exciting news. You say, "Guess what? I got a new job." And your friend responds, "Wow, congratulations, that's amazing." You reply, "Thanks, I start next Monday." They ask, "What will you be doing?" And you say, "I'll be working as a customer support representative." These conversations are exciting, personal, and full of energy. They help you express your emotions, describe changes in your life, and respond to others with enthusiasm. Sometimes conversations can involve giving opinions or joining discussions. For example, you might be watching a movie with friends and say, "I didn't like the ending, it felt too rushed." Your friend says, "Really? I thought it was perfect. It kept me guessing." You reply, "Maybe, but I wish they had explained more." These opinion-based exchanges allow you to use more expressive language, compare ideas, and explore differences respectfully. Being able to agree, disagree, or offer different viewpoints in English makes your conversations more dynamic and real. You might also be involved in situations where you need to make polite complaints. Suppose you're at a restaurant and your food is too cold. You call the server and say, "Excuse me, my food is cold. Could you please warm it up?" They respond, "I'm sorry about that. I'll take care of it right away." You say, "Thank you." Later, when the food returns, you say, "Oh, this is much better. Thanks again." These types of conversations show how to stay polite even when things go wrong. You practice using calm, respectful language to express dissatisfaction and appreciation. Another useful practice example includes talking to someone who speaks English as a second language like you do. Suppose you meet a fellow learner and say, "How long have you been learning English?" They answer, "About a year. What about you?" You say, "2 years now. I'm still working on my fluency." They respond, "Same here. I practice every day by watching videos and reading." You say, "That's a good method. I do shadowing practice too." These conversations are encouraging, honest, and helpful. They remind you that you're not alone and that daily practice really makes a difference. In your own home, you can create conversations with yourself to build confidence. You might stand in front of the mirror and say, "Today I'm going to work on my pronunciation," or "Let me describe what I see in the kitchen." Even when you don't have someone to talk to, practicing aloud is an effective method. You can narrate your actions by saying, "Now I'm washing the dishes," or "I'm preparing breakfast with eggs and toast." These spoken sentences may seem small, but over time they help you form natural English habits. Lastly, it's important to reflect on your journey. You can say to yourself, "I've learned so much today, my English is getting better," or "I made a mistake earlier, but I corrected it." That's progress. Encouraging yourself in English builds not only your language skills, but also your motivation. It helps you stay focused, especially when improvement feels slow. Remember, every conversation is practice and every day is a step forward. No matter your level, consistent effort is what transforms you into a fluent English speaker. Now, before we end, let's do one final quick practice. Imagine this routine. You wake up and say, "Good morning, world. Time to embrace the day." You go to the kitchen and say, "First, I'll brew myself a strong cup of coffee." While getting dressed, you say, "I think I'll wear something comfortable today, maybe my favorite jeans." Then you prepare to go out and say, "Wallet, keys, phone, got everything." These sentences, said aloud or even silently in your head, train your brain to think in English. This is the best daily practice, talking to yourself in English as you live your life. No books, no stress, just using the language every moment you can. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today and honing your English skills. I truly hope these unique daily life conversations have helped you feel more confident and ready to use English in your everyday routine. Remember, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss a new lesson. We're here, uploading videos every day to help you improve faster. Also, let me know in the comments below how you practice English daily or what other conversation topics you'd like us to explore next. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next video.